Everyone thinks fixed income is, the boring part of your portfolio.
Right, the safe part.
The safe haven where you just park your cash and forget it. But if you actually look at the fine print on these debt securities, you realize there are these structural risks that they can wipe you out.
It's not just about lending money and getting interest back. It's a strict hierarchy. Based on the chapters we looked at, it's really a ladder of safety.
A ladder of safety, I like that. We need to figure out who's on solid ground and who falls off when things start shaking.
Exactly. And the ground floor, or the bedrock, has to be U.S. Treasuries.
The whole financial system uses them as the risk-free benchmark. But even here, it's not all the same. The mechanism changes depending on the timeline.
Right. You've got T-bills, which are super short-term, under a year.
And they're strange, right? Because they don't actually pay interest coupons?
No, they operate on a discount basis. You don't get a check in the mail. You might buy a $1,000 bill for, say, $980.
And that $20 difference is your profit, your interest.
It's implicit interest, exactly. Whereas the longer-term stuff, your T-notes and T-bonds, they pay those traditional semi-annual coupons.
But the sources we read point to a really important variation here, TPS.
Treasury inflation-protected securities. So if you're worried about inflation eating away at your returns,
Which everyone is these days.
the principal on your TPS actually adjusts with the CPI. So if inflation goes up, the principal value of your bond goes up. It preserves your purchasing power.
And how do you buy these? The Dutch auction process is mentioned. It sounds complicated.
It's actually a great equalizer for the small investor. The big institutions, they submit competitive bids that set the price.
Okay.
But you, as an individual, you can submit a non-competitive bid. You're guaranteed to get the bond.
And you get it at the price set by the big players.
You get the best price, essentially. You get to ride their coattails.
Okay, so that's the government backing its own debt. But the risk profile really shifts when the government starts backing our debt.
You mean the housing market? Mortgage-backed securities?
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, we hear those names all the time.
And there is a critical legal distinction here. Fannie and Freddie have an implicit government backing.
Implicit.
But Ginnie Mae, is the only one explicitly backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. It's effectively sovereign debt.
But even with that rock-solid guarantee, you face a risk that you just don't see with treasuries, prepayment risk.
It sounds so backwards. The risk is that you get paid back too quickly.
How does that work?
Well, think about it. When do people pay back their mortgages early? When interest rates drop.
They refinance to a lower rate.
Exactly. So as the bondholder, your high-interest income stream just stops. You get your principal back right when reinvestment options are terrible because rates are low.
It's an opportunity cost risk.
A huge one.
Okay, let's move down that ladder to the local level. Municipal bonds. This is where it gets interesting because you see a split. Politics versus commerce.
That's the perfect way to put it. That's the divide between general obligation, or AGO bonds, and revenue bonds.
Go-go bonds are backed by, what, the taxing power of the city?
Yep. Income taxes, property taxes, the city's ability to just take money. And because it affects every taxpayer's wallet, it almost always requires voter approval.
So a go bond is safer because the city can legally reach into everyone's pockets to pay you back.
Right. Contrast that with revenue bonds. These are for specific projects.
Like a toll road or a new stadium.
Exactly. They don't need voters, they need customers. And that's why they require a feasibility study.
To prove the project can actually pay for itself.
Because if nobody drives on that toll road, the bondholders don't get paid. The city isn't on the hook to bail it out with tax money.
All right, now for the top of the risk ladder. Corporate debt. This is where the hierarchy of who gets paid becomes a matter of survival if a company goes bankrupt.
It is a strict, legally defined liquidation priority.
I think of it like a sinking ship. The secured bondholders have reserved spots in the lifeboat.
Because they have collateral. Real estate, equipment, something tangible pledged directly to them.
Then you have the debenture holders, the unsecured creditors.
They're just swimming, hoping there's enough value left in the company after the secured guys are paid.
And below them, you even have subordinated debentures. The name says it all. They literally agreed to be lower in rank.
They're waiting for a lifeboat only after everyone else is safe.
And at the absolute bottom, going down with the ship.
Stockholders. In a liquidation, they almost never see a dime. And that's the trade-off, isn't it? The higher up that risk ladder you go, the higher the yield you demand to compensate for that risk.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one thing from the reading that just completely challenges the idea of safety. Auction rate securities, ARS.
Ah, the liquidity illusion. This is a classic.
So these are technically long-term bonds, right? Like 20 or 30 years?
Very long term. But the interest rate resets every single week at an auction. So everyone started treating them like cash.
Until the auction
Right.
fails.
If there aren't enough buyers one week to set the rate, the market freezes. And suddenly that cash equivalent you thought you had.
Is a 30-year bond you cannot sell. You're stuck.
It forces you to ask a really fundamental question. Is your asset liquid because it's inherently safe? Or is it only liquid because there happens to be a buyer today?
A sobering thought for anyone checking their account balance. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.